At the end of Overdose Awareness Week and in the middle of an intensifying crisis, there was a quiet protest in the heart of downtown today. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jennifer Meckles.
And I'm Mark Salinger. It was quiet on purpose because the people participating knew that they could be arrested. They're willing to take the risk to send a strong message about how they say lives can be saved. Here's 9 News reporter Anusha Roy.
In between the Capitol and the city and county building were 2 tents, one blue, one purple, closed off to the public.
This is it's super easy. It's not anything high tech.
Betsy Kraft, a harm reduction advocate, said this is an example of what an overdose prevention center could look like. A place where people could bring their own drugs, use them with supervision from medical professionals, and also connect with resources if ready. It's an idea that is not allowed in Colorado and has been at the center of a long legal and political battle.
We're good people. We don't deserve to die. We have a tool here that is evidence-based.
Kraft, who says she has survived more than 12 overdoses.
These are the people that have died from preventable overdose deaths.
Is exhausted from the grief.
You know, we've just lost so many people.
She said she cannot wait around anymore, and neither can the addiction specialist doctors there today.
This is part of a spectrum of care for people. So because we open up an overdose prevention center that can help people keep people safe.
While on camera, everyone said that this was an example of an overdose prevention center site, and while it was also set up in a high-use drug corner at Colfax and Broadway where multiple people have overdosed. And according to several harm reduction advisors, today, around 15 people were able to come and use drugs like meth and fentanyl with medical supervision and then connect to services. A site that at one point was quietly breaking the law while also surrounded by park rangers and state patrol troopers.
They've killed our bill. Our legislators have killed our bill for the past 2 years.
Kraft is talking about the latest legislation fizzling out with a veto threat from the governor. There was also concerns from both Democratic and Republican lawmakers. And going as far back as 2018, Denver City Council said that they would be okay with a site like this opening, but they never got the green light from the state over concerns of enabling addiction, a lack of proper guardrails, becoming a magnet for other crimes, and questioning if this was even an effective solution. In response, Dr. Christine and his colleagues said a site like this is not fringe, but that it's actually found in multiple countries and other parts of the U.S.
There are 11 countries that are implementing these. We have 150 sites around the world that are doing it, so we honestly need to catch up.
What we know from the data, primarily out of New York City right now, is that overdose prevention sites actually decrease the amount of syringes, discarded syringes, and drug paraphernalia on the streets. So that helps keep the community safer. They decrease overdoses, and they actually do not lead to any appreciable increase in crime.
And as doctors said, they support this as another option to keep people alive long enough to get help. All 15 people left the tent okay. That is according to the advocates because we were not allowed inside that tent. I did from afar see a couple people walk in. They also gave out 69 Narcans, more than 200 fentanyl testing strips, and say 2 people then set up appointments with those doctors for treatment as well. The advocates also said the legal waters are muddied because this week City Council in Denver signed a proclamation to prioritize harm reduction and things like an overdose prevention center. We did, however, just hear from the Denver's mayor's office. They said their first priority is connecting people with the proven treatment options, but that Denver has no plans to open one of these sites and will continue to work around the clock to help people through their Roads to Recovery program and All In Mile High.
It's fascinating that this happened right in the middle of Civic Center Park with police officers right nearby. So people walk into that tent. How long do they stay there? How long are they supervised for?
Yeah, you know, what they're seeing is a lot of people walking in and using fentanyl, which the doctors were saying in general, when that happens, it tends to peak relatively quickly. So they'll be there under supervision. It could be anywhere from 10 minutes to 30 minutes before they're allowed, you know, to be back out and make sure that everyone in the vicinity, including that person, is safe.
And to your point of a quiet, it's kind of done quietly. Did people that were walking in around Civic Center Park even notice what was going on?
No, we had eyes on this the entire afternoon, the entire time they were there. There was people walking by, visiting the Capitol, enjoying a beautiful afternoon, and it was just quietly right there off to the side.
Wild.
Quiet protest. Anusha, thank you.
Let's take a live look now at the Elitch Gardens Water Park. Last weekend, the water park will be open. Labor Day is the final day of the season.
It is hot out there, and that looks really, really nice. Want to head over to 9 News Weather Impact Team meteorologist Corey Reppenhagen joining us today. And Corey, this 3-day weekend, it's a nice time to get outside.
Yeah, we really nailed a good weekend for Labor Day this time around. Plenty of action out there to shut down those pools and water slides for the year. Hit 91 was the official high temperature in Denver today. You may have also noticed a bit of a haze. You can see that in this live camera shot out here back behind the city of Denver. That's mostly what you're seeing is out-of-state wildfire smoke coming from Wyoming and other places in the Pacific Northwest. But we've also had our own pollution and ozone pollution problem going on. Right now it's 89 degrees still at DIA, 87 degrees right here at 9 News Studios here. So your weather impact headlines, we're tracking that sunny holiday, which will continue. Sunshine, warm conditions Sunday and Monday. Fire weather conditions could develop in our area as the humidity drops down below 20% Sunday and Monday with a little bit of gusty winds. And we're also tracking a cold front that could cool us off on Wednesday and Thursday. Here's your timeline for tomorrow. We'll probably hit 90 degrees once again tomorrow. Good chance anyways, and lots of sunshine once again. And here's your high temperatures across the Front Range and Eastern Plains here. A lot of us could see 90 degrees and the upper 80s along the base of the foothills tomorrow.
Say his name. What's his name?
Today marks 100 days since an unarmed man in Aurora was shot and killed by police. Today, the family of Kylan Lewis gathered at the state capitol. They told 9 News reporter Evan Krugel they need answers.
I love you. I love you.
On the steps of the state capitol,
Stand with you.
tears poured down the face of LaRonda Jones
I'll be with you till the end.
as a community rallied behind her, chanting the name of her son.
Say his name.
Lewis was unarmed and holding a cell phone when he was shot and killed by an Aurora police officer in May. Police say they were trying to arrest him in connection with an attempted homicide.
This marks 100 days that my son has not got justice. And we're going to continue this fight on and on and on till we do get justice for Kylan Lewis.
Edited body camera video released by police continues to draw scrutiny from the family as they call for the officer who shot Lewis to be fired and charged.
It took 8 seconds, and his last words were, "I ain't got nothing." We demand that the Aurora City Council, the Aurora City Manager, and those in Aurora hold their officers accountable.
City council members say they have no power to bring charges, and an outside investigation into the officer is ongoing.
I want everybody to feel what I'm feeling right now and say no more.
LaRonda says her family will continue fighting for answers as she calls on others to do the same.
Because in numbers, we have that power.
In Denver,
Thank you.
Evan Krugel, 9 News.
The city of Aurora is contradicting itself on the extent of Venezuelan gang activity in that city. The mayor told Fox News this week the gang is collecting rent at a troubled apartment complex. The interim police chief, in a video press release, says that's not happening.
It's that intimidation factor. We've got Venezuelan gang members who have gone into an apartment complex where there's a concentration of Venezuelans and pushed out the property management through intimidation, and now they're intimidating the tenants there to pay them the rent and probably extort other things from them.
I'm not saying that there's not gang members that don't live in this community, but what we're learning out here is that gang members have not taken over this complex. We've really made an effort to the last few days to just really ask the specific questions and the direct questions in terms of the gang activity and who's actually making sure that people aren't paying rent to gang leaders or gang members, that's not happening. And we've discovered here today and yesterday talking to so many residents that that's not the case.
So we don't generally air video news releases from police departments and cities for ethical reasons. We weren't there to shoot that video ourselves or ask Chief Morris any questions. But her comments in that video directly contradict what Mayor Kaufman said and add further confusion in a week when the city's public statements on Venezuelan gang activity hasn't always lined up. Mayor Kaufman has said contradictory things in interviews just hours apart. The city's trying to get a court order to clear out 2 or 3 apartment buildings to combat gang activity. They're planning to declare the properties a, quote, criminal nuisance.